Yes, I'm ready. Yes. Woo.
Yay, CatBoy!
Coming up on stage.
Right.
Hello. Hey, give me some candy.
CatBoy's trick-or-treating!
Suck to me some candy. Yay. Anyway, I think Lauren asked us I'd like to tell a Halloween story. There is one. It's a sweet story. I got to tell this to you. I was out trick-or-treating one night, and I was out with a friend, a girl named Caroline. I forget how old we were, like 11 or 12. And a car had driven by us, like really, really fast, and something came flying out the window. And it landed in a great big pile of leaves. As I had a neighbor that would gather his leaves, but he would never throw them away. He expected the city to come pick them up. They never did. And we went fishing through the leaves saying, what the heck did this person throw at us? We found this bag, and inside was a kitten.
No.
Somebody threw a kitten out the window. It was a poor little angry black kitten. You know what I did? I adopted it, and I raised that kitten, and I kept it for 15 years.
Yeah.
That was my kitten.
Happy
Gave him a home. Gave the poor little darling a home. All right, so what happened? What's been going on recently? I went in for a flu shot today. It just came out today. They say they're only like 30% effective last year or something, but I don't know. And 30% is better than nothing, right? I didn't get a flu last year. But you ever see those signs at McDonald's, like Employee of the Month, and they say, like, most dedicated? Everyone else knows that person is the bastard who keeps coming here and giving me the flu.
You know. You're right.
So get your flu shots, because there's always that guy out there, you know what I mean? You know, there was I got some quotes from you. There's Samuel Butler. He said, being ill is one of the greatest pleasures of life, providing one is not too ill and not obliged to go to work until one is better. And there's another one from Kasky Stinnett. It says, the trouble with being a hypochondriac these days is antibiotics have cured all the really good diseases.
Not anymore.
Okay, what's been going on in the news lately? Did anyone hear that in the news a Saudi prince was caught in Beirut smuggling 2 tons of cocaine?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
2 tons of cocaine. Now, apparently, I've looked this up. There's like 20,000 Saudi princes in the world at any one time. So the fucked up thing is when he claimed it was for personal use, he was actually telling the truth. That's a big family you gotta keep on. You know, that's a big family. I think the reason why we have so many Saudi princes in the world is to let rich people know what is it like to live next door to a crack house. Or wasn't the Kardashians supposed to do that? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Now, recently, we had a federal election. The Conservatives got the boot. We now have a new Liberal Prime Minister, Trudeau. In honor of the old Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, there are some people that are campaigning to name an airport after Stephen Harper. Now, I may hate Harper, but I actually do not object to this idea. As long as they put the airport in a really shitty city that they'll never visit, like Calgary. That's exactly where they're going to put it. Have you ever heard of the Eaton family? Anyone know who that is? Like, you've heard of Toronto's Eatons, the big Eaton Center? Eaton family's like Canada's Rockefellers. Or at least they were up until a few years ago. The last billionaire member of them actually screwed all of his kids out of the will. Said, you're not getting a penny. He donated all of his money to Calgary so the people who live there could afford to move somewhere decent. Oh, stick it to Calgary. Also, what's in the news? We have our own place that's like the White House in Canada. We call it 24 Sussex Drive. And apparently Trudeau cannot move in, our new prime minister, because it's in terrible disrepair. They say it's going to cost $10 million to fix it all. So our new prime minister had to move to a place across the street called Rideau Cottage, which has undergone extensive renovations on its own. Turns out they still haven't finished them by the time Trudeau's family moved in. Trudeau was very upset. He said, why didn't you tell me about the renovations we're still undergoing before we moved in? They said, well, it's because you weren't prime minister then, were you? Okay. Who knows? But a lot of people might not remember this, although I bet you Thinker probably does. It's in his time. This is a true story. I'm going to tell you a true story. 1949, the White House was completely gutted. And if you look this up on the internet, just type in 1949 White House renovations. It was the inside, all the floors and everything were completely torn out. And it cost them $54 million. That's in 1949 dollars. By today's standards, that's $500 million, or the cost of a small land invasion to a Central American country, if that's how you measure wealth these days.
Yes, and I do remember it.
Okay, yes, it was actually gutted. The reason why this happened was the old White House. A lot of people don't remember this. It didn't have an actual real frame. It didn't have steel framing. It was kind of built like a barn, and with exposed floorboards all over the place. Truman said that one morning when he stepped out of the shower, he almost fell through the floorboards, and he said, "I would have wound up in the Lincoln Room, completely naked and soaking wet." And saying wearing nothing but a surprised look. Although I doubt he'd be as surprised as Lincoln would have been if he was still around. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Trudeau's wife is she's like one of these renovation people where she buys a house and she renovates it and flips it and whatnot. That's how she made her money early in the day. So she's a little obsessed with renovating. And throwing her in a situation like Rideau College is like throwing a match into a lake of gasoline, apparently. So when she moved in, Justin said the last time we had a house, when we lived there, when we moved in, the bedroom was 20 by 12. She painted it so many times. By the time we moved out, it was 19 by 11. Has anyone heard of Canada's favorite board game? Sorry. Remember that one? That was an actual board game. I remember that. It was from the 70s. And I got a blonde joke for you about someone. A blonde decided to pie herself as a handyman. And so she's going around knocking door to door saying, "Do you need anything that needs to be done around the house?" Right? And this guy says, "Okay." Thinks he'll take advantage of her. He says, "How about my porch? How much will you charge for painting that?" And the blonde says, "How about $50?" Well, that's a ridiculously low price for painting something like a porch. But one thing the guy never told the girl was that the porch went all the way around the house. So she really got herself into a hell of a situation. So the guy went inside talking to his wife saying, "You won't believe this. I just talked this sucker into painting our porch." And the lady said, "Really? Okay, well, how much? $50, the guy said. "Oh, that's wonderful." So after a couple hours, the blonde comes back inside and says she's already finished. And wants the $50. Said, "Really? You're already done?" "Not only am I already done, I had some paint left over." Okay, so he decides to pay her up the $50, and the blonde says, "By the way, it's not a porch, it's a Ferrari." By the way, is anyone else here angry that only one company gets to make the game Monopoly? Okay, another blonde joke. A blonde called her boyfriend, said, "Please come over and help me. I have a killer jigsaw puzzle. I just can't figure it out." Right? I can't even get it started. The boyfriend says, "Well, okay, well, what is it supposed to be when it's finished?" And the blonde said, "Well, according to the picture on the box, it's a tiger." Right? So the boyfriend comes over and he helps her with the puzzle. Right? She lets him in. Right? She shows him the puzzle. Right? And he studies the pieces for a moment. Then he looks at the box and he turns and says, "Okay, no matter what we do, we're not going to be able to assemble these pieces to anything resembling a tiger." Right? And then he said, "Second, I want you to relax, have a nice cup of hot chocolate, and then put those frosted flakes back in the box." Yay. Hey, I gave all my dead batteries away, free of charge. Free of Oh my gosh. All right. Oh, did anyone hear recently? Lauren was just talking about this. WHO released statistics that red meat causes cancer as bad as cigarettes. And I'm saying, listen. A lot of times when they release these statistics, I'm using quotations. They have a look at the numbers. They're being portrayed in a deliberately misleading manner for sensationalism and just to be alarming. Like they make claims that eating meat is as bad as smoking, but it's in the context of, yes, it is. If you ate bacon 3 steaks a day, compare that to smoking less than half a pack of cigarettes. By average consumption, smoking is still 2.5 times likely to cause cancer. So portraying statistics like this is deliberately misleading to scare people to become more vegetarian is really what they're doing. I got a few jokes about that. How many vegetarians does it take to eat a double bacon cheeseburger? Well, one if no one's looking. What do you call what do you call a masturbating vegetarian? It's a non-dairy creamer.
Ooh.
Okay, now here's a real one for you. This is a Navajo word. What is the Indian word for vegetarian? I had to look this up. They actually have one. It's a Navajo word for vegetarian.
Asshole.
I had to look it up. It's Gaya Gagu Yuyo I, which translates as man who is shit at catching anything.